I'm Jamie McDonald. Join me as we celebrate small businesses that make New York so unique. These New York Originals. You may have never set foot in Old Town Bar, but you've certainly seen it, literally and figuratively. For this place has been used in several movies, commercials, and photo shoots. And for good reason. For when it comes to an authentic turn-of-the-century saloon, doesn't get any better than this. Old Town Bar and Restaurant is one of those places New Yorkers draw comfort from. You see, as the city goes through its inevitable changes, this tavern stays wondrously the same. Thanks in part to two brothers who carry on their father's tradition in the fine art of tavern keeping.
It's the total opposite of the steel and exposed concrete and the sleek interiors that characterize a new restaurant opening today. It's nice to have that bit of old New York because there's not a lot of that left.
Every inch of Old Town is original and authentic, not put there purposely to be quaint or old-fashioned.
The bar has a lot of features that you don't normally see. We have large beveled mirrors in the bar room. We still have gaslight fixtures that we have converted to electrical. We have 17-foot ceilings with pressed tin at the top.
Another interesting feature, call buttons at tables.
The buttons used to work. The first couple waitresses that worked here would be driven crazy. I think somewhere along the line we disconnected them. People thought that they would actually get service if you pressed the buttons, and if anything, you would not get service by pressing the buttons.
Old Town is located on 18th Street. It's one of the last reminders of a once thriving German community.
The Old Town was built in 1892. For the first 80, 90 years of its existence, it was run by a series of Germans and German Americans, and it featured German food. It started to fade in the 1960s as this Union Square neighborhood faded.
You could count the people at the bar at 9 o'clock and was usually closed by 10 o'clock. You would get people like Andy Warhol coming in and Bill Murray and Keith Richards, but you know who they were because there was nobody else in the bar.
It wasn't until the late 70s when my father, Larry Meagher, joined with the Henry Loden, it started to regenerate.
The first big break we had was in the mid-'80s. The Letterman people came in and they wanted to shoot the bar as part of their entrance to their show. And then people would come by and say, oh, was Letterman come here? Oh, so, well, he just left, although I don't think he's ever been here.
Thus began a long relationship with filmmakers. Movies shot here include The Devil's Own, Bullets Over Broadway, and The Last Days of Disco, among others.
We've shot about 10 motion pictures and commercials and such in here. One with Jackie Gleason and Art Carney. It was actually the last thing they did together. It was actually the last thing that Jackie Gleason shot, called Izzy and Mo.
They did a Madonna video here. From my father's story, he told that he doubled the price for that video of our normal charge, and they asked him, why did you double the price? He said, well, that's the syntax, you know.
Some actors found Old Town just a great place to hang out.
We would get a lot of celebrities because we were right near the Broadway rehearsal studios. I mean, we don't fawn over celebrities, but we treat everybody the same with respect. So I think they like that sort of democratic attitude.
Old Town is also a literary mecca of sorts. Several writers have frequented it, including Jim Dwyer and Frank McCourt, whose book covers grace the walls.
My father made it a point of developing relationships with the writers who came in, and writers tend to be interested in offbeat places. What we really like is for people to have a good time and meet interesting people. We don't cater to drunks, unlike some local taverns where you have the same 20 guys lined up every day. We have a rotating cast of characters who give people a chance to meet somebody they hadn't met before. We have New York people that work here, not actors just off the bus from Kansas or somebody off the boat from Ireland. Well, we have real New Yorkers who know, whose history, whose family's history is in their bones, and it reflects this tavern.
I know when I'm working and the bar is going well, I can just hear people talking, and I know things are doing well. If you just hear silence, or if you hear too much music, or just people, everyone's looking at the game, then you know that's not good for the overall atmosphere of the bar.
And to keep the conversation flowing, the brothers use one of their father's old tricks, posting short editorials on just about any subject.
Whether they agree with it or not, and you know, we don't expect everybody to agree with everything we put, but we just think that people like just you to stand out and not just try to be bland.
And that goes for the food, too.
I think what we have is hearty tavern food, and one thing we do here is we make everything fresh. We have a bigger staff than you'd see for a place of this size, but we make the potato salad raw, we cut our own French fries, we make our own coleslaw. Nothing comes out of an all-righter bag. Everything here is made right from scratch.
Food, ambience, good conversation. Old Town's best qualities continued decade after decade. Larry would certainly be proud of his boys.
Keeping up with their trendy neighbors, Old Town's open most nights until 1 a.m. But if you want to try one of their tasty burgers, fair warning, kitchen closes at 11:30.